Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. It's been a wonderful week. It's going into a great weekend with Pastor John Avanzini. Brother Avanzini is going to be preaching a sermon for us this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, in all services, all locations, that he's never preached anyplace else in the world. It's a sermon called Compassion. It's going to be a great time together. Right now, I want to go to a very negative subject, false prophets. Nobody likes to think about these guys. But because we don't like to think about them, forgive me, we enable them, all right? Sometimes we have to have our warning up a little bit. It's amazing how people misuse the concept of false prophets to try to speak against real preachers. Let's see in the next 2 chapters what false prophets are really all about. In chapter 2, beginning with verse 1, Peter says there will also be false prophets among the people. So false prophets are among the people. They're just there. They're not outside the church. They're, forgive me, inside the church. Just as there will be false teachers among you. He said, hey, Peter says it's going to be there. So just get used to the idea. Now notice how they work. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies. So they don't do this work overtly. See, there are some false prophets that are right out there telling false and false. But there are other false prophets that move among the people of God, teaching secretly introducing destructive heresies. And you don't even see these guys going. Even denying the sovereign Lord who bought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves. Now, continue. So, all right, first of all, they're among us. They secretly introduce destructive heresies. They look so good and they look so wonderful. But notice how you recognize them. Many will follow their shameful ways. Their teaching may sound wonderful, and they may be able to secretly introduce some things, but their lifestyle, shameful ways. You see, false prophets just don't live right. I mean, please forgive me. They don't live right. And they'll have lots of excuses and lots of biblical rationalizations why they don't need to live a holy life, why it's all right to get drunk, why it's all right to mess around with women, why it's all right to tell lies. They'll have lots of ways to get around what the Bible teaches about holiness. But it says, many will follow their shameful ways. Now that's fascinating to me. Many will follow, not their words, but their shameful ways, their shameful lifestyles, and will bring the way of truth, bring the teachings of God into disrepute. Now that's amazing. So it's not the false prophets that destroy the reputation of Christianity in the world. It's the Christians who follow the shameful ways of the false prophets, who bring the teachings of Christ and the reputation of Christianity into disrepute. Now that's something you and I need to think about a little bit. I want to challenge you today. There's a lot of people that by their lifestyles and by their teachings, they teach you that you don't need to live a holy life. False prophets will always teach you that it's all right to sin. Real men and real women of God will always teach you to live a holy life. So let's back up a little bit and just go, you know what? Let's look at lifestyles. You know how the government wants to have a lifestyle check and look at everybody's money? Sometimes we need to have a lifestyle check and check out people's holiness. Preachers need to live right. Teachers need to live right. In Jesus' name.